Miss Mona Adams, and I want to tell you a little bit about her story, if I may, before we get started with the presentation for Mona. Mona is an exceptional woman, and when I met her 12 years ago, I was amazed by her charisma. She actually defines the word charisma, in my view. And if you were to listen to her voicemail or her answering machine, you'd notice one thing immediately, and that's that she cares about you. And that comes across on the telephone, which is amazing. And she started the business, actually in 1967, Mona, I believe, 66, when in those days, women didn't really start in business at all. It was the exception, entirely not the rule. She had been in Weight Watchers in New York City and moved to Columbus and called back to New York and asked if she could actually join Weight Watchers in Columbus. And they told her that they didn't have Weight Watchers in Columbus at all, but that she could start a franchise in Columbus. And her response back to them was, "What's a franchise?" She didn't even know what it was. And of course, in those days, franchises weren't that big of a deal either. But at the end of the day, she started the franchise with a very small investment in 1967. And I won't get into the exact numbers in terms of what was accumulated over the course of time. But she sold her business this year. And the return was somewhere around 11,700% as a simple interest return. 11%, a little better than I think we'll ever do for our clients. So, pretty great deal. But it's not only that, but she also employed a number of people as well. And she did this with her children. I want to make sure I introduce them as well. And if they would please stand up for me. I know that you're in the middle of the video, but if you would stand up. Ron Adams, her daughter, youngest child and daughter. And Jeffrey, is Jeffrey here? Jeffrey in the back. A big round of applause for both of them, please. Ron and her husband Scott, I want to say Scotty, I almost said Scotty, but Scott came all the way down from Cleveland to be here, and actually Jeffrey flew in all the way from North Myrtle Beach to be here this evening. And actually Mona flew in from West Palm Beach to be here, so she left 82-degree weather last week and came here to be this terrible weather we've had this week. So we thank you, Mona, for being here. One other story I'd like to share with you also, if I may, and then Stephen has a little poem that came from this particular employee of yours who sent this to me today. And actually, one of your employees, Marie, called me out of the blue. I'd not seen her in about 18 months. And she called me out of the blue on Friday of this past week and said she wanted to thank me and Stephen for putting together this award and this ceremony tonight for Mona. And I thanked her and I just said, you're very welcome. And she said, I can't think of anyone who's more deserving of receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award than Mona. And this is coming from her lifelong employee of almost 40 years. And that to me was very compelling, and indeed compelling enough that I thought I would share it with you tonight. And I talked to Marie. She was going to try to come up this evening. Unfortunately, her mother's ill and is 92, and she could not make it. But what Marie did for you and for us is she wrote a poem for Mona. And I actually tried to read it today and couldn't quite get through it. So I'm going to let Stephen read it to you all. And this is from your employee, Marie, to you and to everyone in the room. Stephen?
Okay. Mona, you are quite a gal, and that will agree. You married Ben, then children came, that amounted to 3. Jeffrey, Stephen, Ronna, your kids you adore. They call themselves the Rotten Kids. Now who could ask you? You are a businesswoman who has achieved so much. You are one of the first ones to believe in the human touch. Now, Mona, we have all grown a bit older and gone our separate ways, but no one will ever regret what you did to bring Weight Watchers to Columbus in those early days. You have touched so many lives and even saved a few. I remember when you moved here from the big city and heard your first cow milk. You always cared for your staff and took such good care of them, lecturing all over the country, looking so stylish and pretty. They used to say, who is that classy lady carrying the scale down there? Why, just think of her dedication. It brings about a tear. Why, that is Mona Adams. We all know her face. Her picture is on billboards all over the place. Mona, you are in our hearts today. We all just want to say, hip hip hooray. We raise our glasses to a lady who has paved the way. P.S. Thanks, Mona, for what you mean to me. You are loyal, devoted employee, Marie.
I tried to read that this afternoon and couldn't quite make it, so I'm glad Stephen was able to read that. And that to me was extremely compelling, coming from one of Mona's lifelong employees. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you may, I'd like everyone to stand and give a big resounding applause for our Lifetime Achievement Award winner tonight, Miss Mona T. Adams. Mona?
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, my breath has been taken away by all of this, and I had a whole bunch of speeches and notes, but I can't even start to thank Steve and Bob for this lovely recognition and all of the nice things that have been said about me and my family. And aren't we all lucky that we're associated with Bob and Steve? Do you all agree? My daughter, who you just met, at our 40th anniversary, said, "I thought I was the only baby in this family." And all of a sudden, in 1967, a new baby came on board, and our whole family got together caring for this new baby. On October 16, 1967, we opened our first meeting with 16 people. And 46 years later, this July, I just sold the business back to the parent company with over 10,000 members. That's quite an accomplishment. This couldn't have been done without the support of my wonderful family and without the support of a dedicated staff whom you just heard from. I was absolutely in shock over this, saying how wonderful they felt working for Weight Watchers. And my son Jeff, we're a very talkative family, as you can see. My son Jeff once said, "Mom, there's no I in team." And I know what he means, because we were a team. We had a dedicated staff, a fabulous family, and we made a very successful business. I want to thank Steve and Bob for this lovely evening, and all I can say is we're all very fortunate to be a part and be associated with them for making a lot of money. And with that, I say thank you again, and good night.
Mona, before you, want to read your plaque to you. Actually, Stephen, could you read the plaque to Mona?
Oh, look at that.
Polaris Financial Partners Lifetime Achievement Award honors Mona T. Adams for her charisma, leadership, and commitment to excellence in Central Ohio.
Actually, you got a great song that Mona loves. Is that your piece?
I believe it today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Please hang on to was the